Hello everybody and welcome to another Tech Minute video. Although this might not be much of a Tech Minute, but I figured I would do a video just on general updates, the state of the company and how things are going, with COVID and everything else happening in the LA area. So first things first, I'll start with the intro again. So thank you for joining me in my office today. The first thing I wanted to quickly chat about was the rack. So this was installed yesterday as part of an effort to, remove the bread rack that was here. This gives it a much cleaner look, and it also allows the cable management to happen at a much higher level. Originally in its place was this guy here, this bread rack, and it is just, it's kind of rough to work with the bars and stuff. These are just two switches that I've replaced with much better, higher quality grade switches. But anyway, I thought I'd just take you guys kind of on just a quick update on what's going on in the office. So many of you guys see this corner here primarily in most of the videos with all the displays and everything. I actually kind of left the screens up the way they typically are. The screen that's up here, the widescreen, that's an LG ultra wide. Not sure of its dimensions, but I think it's a 27-inch. I typically have the Apple TV screensaver going on it, just like you see it there, and that's mainly for just ambiance. If my brain starts wandering or I get lost in a train of thought, I can kind of look at that and fall into a zen. Those cityscapes and flyovers that Apple poured into the Apple TV actually kind of helped me think. As far as everything else goes, there are three MacBook Pros there. One of them is actually installing, this one in here in the middle is installing the latest macOS Monterey beta, which I believe is beta 6 or 5, maybe 5. Actually, yes, it is 5. Beta 6 on iOS, beta 5 on macOS. My iPad is right here that I sometimes use as a teleprompter or just something to jot notes down if I'm in a Zoom or WebEx call. The pencil helps me save paper, and it allows me to keep all the digital notes that I make. There's the 2013 Mac Pro there. That's kind of been my primary workhorse, although I am starting to get to a point where I don't really do hardcore processing anymore. The one-off processings that I do would include like video edits and renders and stuff like that, and for that I actually have that trash can there, that 2013 Mac Pro. So I have two of them, and that one's probably going to get put into this rack as well, just for some kind of a rendering engine or something. You can see two Scepter 4K displays there, and then one Scepter full HD vertical display that I typically use for email and calendaring. It kind of keeps the orientation of those apps pretty decent. You can see my calendar up currently. My lava lamp I turned off because it generates a lot of heat. Excuse me, and we're pretty hot right now in California, so I'm trying to reduce my heat output just to save on energy. You can kind of see the LED, the DIY Ikea LED strips that I put behind the desk. There's actually a few more of them somewhere that I intended to put kind of along the bottom of the rest of the desk here where it's dark. Haven't gotten a chance to do that, but I did find all of my magnets. These are actually really cool. They're just logo magnets that I got. I haven't started a merch store because I've never really gotten a request for shirts or stuff like this, and I honestly have never had anybody ask me for pens or any of that stuff. I do have pens actually too. Here's some. you know, like red, orange. I think there's some blue ones in here somewhere, you know, right here on the shelf. I do use these shelves still, and you can see that a lot of my, you know, supplies and stuff, some of these have cables in them. Now, let me back up with this. I just moved into this space in the beginning of March. Sorry, beginning of April of 2021. So I've been here for about 5 or 6 months, and it's been kind of tough because I've had a lot of work come through. You know, COVID's kind of wound down and people have started returning back to work, and my afternoons and evenings picked back up, you know, with regards to projects and stuff like that. I'm still doing the stuff like that rack over there. I'm still trying to get everything wired up and programmed and get it going. Here are the power supplies for the Raspberry Pis that I bought. You know, the heat sinks if I choose to put those on, and whatever else. It just takes time, and that's why this looks like that. There used to be a bench here until I found out that I was missing something. I couldn't find it, and it turned out to be right in front of me, and I believe it was this little light for a GoPro, because I was shooting some server room stuff a while ago, and this light was literally someplace where I couldn't find it, and I emptied everything out to find it. And again, I put it right here on the edge so I would find it, but then probably something will cover it up and then I won't find it again when I need it. But this is at some point going to be cleaned up. And here's that other part of the LED strip that I was talking about. But as you can see, my lab's a mess. The only really clean part, and excuse the cable management because that has never gotten addressed. In fact, in my defense, and let me roll over here, when I bought this desk, I bought right along with it, and I don't know if you can see it because it's really dark in here, but I got these kind of adhesive locking, you know, zip tie things that are supposed to stick to the bottom of the desk. Here's a better shot probably at this one. They don't hold very well, especially in warm climates. So, and very dry. It's super dry in Los Angeles, and they only lasted for about 12 hours. I came in the next day and every single one of them had fallen off. So I bought these, but as you can see, these are essentially zip ties. Oh, look, you can see me. Zip ties with the clamps that you screw into the desk, and there's a package of screws right there. And these are supposed to avoid this. So at some point those will go on, but again, time has been non-existent really. And honestly, this was all about functionality more so than anything else. The bench here, this was my old desk, and I used to use this to solder stuff on and build stuff. I had some electronics projects that I used to do here in the old office that I had, but again, time got away from me, and things just turned into a massive pileup of cables and junk and stuff, and I really feel like I need to just hire somebody for a day to come in here and organize it all, but then I wouldn't be able to find anything anyway. So it's one of those darned if you do, darned if you don't. This is my conference table, which you can see. Yeah, it's a second bench, really. And you can see the acrylic of the USS Enterprise E Master Systems display. It is an acrylic print that I got, and it came with mounts, standoff mounts. But I decided that I'm not going to blast any holes into these walls because I don't know how long I will be in this office. and I figured that makes for a nice background like that. I'll leave the protective sheet on it so it looks faded, but it's actually really nice. I've seen the pictures in real life, and those are really well done, especially if you do the LED backlit stuff for it. That can come out really nice. Trying to figure out what else I can talk about here. Mainly that's it. Just some further updates. Like I said, COVID has I know with the Delta variant, things have been up and down. It's really hard to really, put your finger on what's happening, because it seems like things are changing every, 15, 20 minutes, but it is what it is. It's the state of the world. And unfortunately, I think personally, and don't hold this against me when I say this, but I feel like the human race is not responsible enough as a whole to handle COVID, because if you listen to the bickering and the fighting from both sides, first you have to ask yourself, why is there bickering when there's death involved, when there's death, suffering, disease, any form of that, nature? You have to wonder why there would be people that would be for something like that. And then, against those poor people are trying to fight a point that nobody's listening to. People are tired of wearing masks. People are tired of being socially distant, socially absent. As a race, again, as the human race, we are a social people. We rely on interaction with others. And there have been studies done in the past to prove that. There's actually data that indicates that without social interaction, we die. That nothing good comes from it. So that's kind of the same thing I've been reeling with. My staff level is really low in terms of the amount of work I can offload. Most of it, in fact, I'd say 98% of it right now I'm doing myself. My wife still helps me, off and on when she has a chance to, and we're just trying to get by. It is essentially a really small business at this point, this company. And we try to do big things. We try to do very large projects with what we have. And the reason, I guess, for this video is literally for me to say to you, the viewer, that I appreciate all of your views, all of your likes, all of your subscriptions. It's one of those things that really melts my heart, because you guys don't know me from a hole in the wall. You guys don't know who I am besides what's in these videos, and maybe if I've done work for you, or if my company did work for your company, maybe reputations or whatnot. The fact that, complete strangers are willing to listen to a guy talk about, his company, his office, his what have you, that kind of means the world to me. And I think it does for a lot of content creators, who may not actually be native content creators. I became a content creator as a hobby, mainly to educate. Try to do some tips and tricks on security, on Mac OS stuff, on Apple products, but it turned into so much more, because I'd get emails from individuals from all over the world, Canada, Europe, Spain. I think there was one in North Africa somewhere, asking questions about a specific detail that maybe I didn't clarify in a video. And without YouTube, I don't think that would be possible. Now, for those who don't know, I social media plays a big role in my family. For those who don't know me, I met my wife on social media 12 years ago, or 13 years ago now. And as amazing as that was, we wouldn't have met otherwise. We would have never known that the other existed if it wasn't for that social media platform at that time. And now we have a child together, we have a company together, and it's a great adventure for us. And, we're looking at, a long-term future ahead of us, hopefully, God willing, that we get the opportunity to do so. But anyway, I don't mean to take up more than the time that I've already taken up. And if you're still here with me watching this, the only thing I can say to you is that I really appreciate you from the bottom of my heart, and I thank you for tuning in and watching this guy speak his mind and wear his heart on his sleeve. So with that said, this is my office. Right? Windows that go out to the world with the sun that is hotter than a convection oven. So I keep the blinds down just to try to keep the air conditioning in here. Because when I first moved in here, and I'll tell you this story here, this desk, this stand-up U-shape, was right in this area. And with those windows open, it got hot. It was cooking. There was nothing I could do between the display tower making heat and the computers and everything, and then the sun heating up the tabletops, which are also, black. It was crazy. But anyway, I hope this gives you guys a little bit behind the scenes tour of what we got. Yeah. This computer here is doing an open drive upload. Still, it's been running for 10 days. This one just finished updating to the latest beta for macOS Monterey. This would be beta 5. So it turned its screen off because of the fact that it needs my file vault password to continue. That is my primary workhorse when I'm mobile. That's my i9. My little LaMetric clock there. Let's see, some speaker. Whoa, there you go, speakers. There's the Mac Pro. That is a Behringer mixer with Marshall cardioid microphone, some lights and stands that I got off of Amazon, relatively cheap, couple $100. My desktop Emmy, which I have to share, at all costs. I have 2 Emmys for Team Emmys for regional awards that we got for projects that I did a few years ago. So anyway, thanks again. I mean it. I appreciate you watching, sticking around. So the only tech advice that I will offer you for the end of this video will be to use common sense when working with technology. It doesn't matter what rules and policies are in place, what your corporation might say is right or wrong. If it seems wrong, if it seems like it's gonna blow up in your face, it more than likely will. The human body has a nasty ability to doubt itself, but you got to listen to that doubt, because if you approach something and you're like, oh man, this doesn't feel right, oh, I got this sick feeling in my stomach or whatever, I know that's a little extreme, but maybe not. Maybe that's how it works. Some people get it harder, some people get it less obvious. Follow that gut. Follow that gut and make sure that you do what you have to do to protect yourself, protect your data, protect your loved one's data. Everything is on the computer. I don't have to say that too many times, because you're watching this video, so you already know what the computer is capable of, what you have on your phone. Think about all the data that's on your phone. I don't know about you, but I can't seem to find phones big enough in terms of drive space to hold all of my stuff. It's true. Everything, the entire lives, people's entire lives and careers are on their phones, on their tablets, on their computers. So if that means anything to you, then in reality, that's your only job. That's your protection. That's your protection task at hand. You have to watch that. You have to watch out for what could potentially be stolen from you. Finances, God, anything, pictures, ransomware is a thing. And I told you guys a few videos back that I wouldn't mention ransomware anymore because it was getting long in the tooth. And it won't stop. As far as I'm concerned, as a security engineer, as a network engineer, as just a systems consultant or whatever you want to call me, my experience dictates that if there's one thing to be said, it's that security is paramount for anything, be it physical, logical, or what have you. It's very easy to get hacked. A lot of times you don't even know it's happening. And most people won't have the resources to remedy it, besides, paying a ransom to get their stuff back. There's a whole slew of videos on this channel as well as many other channels all over YouTube, all over the internet, with various advice and recommendations. Although I try to stay vendor neutral, I don't partner typically with anybody, therefore none of my videos are sponsored. And it's not by choice, really. I would love to have a sponsorship just for the fact of being able to, afford to create better content, to actually produce a full-blown series or training series for something, whether it's Mac OS or, I don't know, I'm in the middle of preparing for my CCNP, my Cisco Certified Network Professional certification, which I'm hoping to take in the next year. The book is like 1,000 pages, so it's going to take a while. But the point is that whatever you choose to do, use your head with it. Take what I have here. I'm not saying it's 100%, but it's the best that I can do with what I have. The equipment that's running over here in this rack, all of it has a purpose, there's some stuff in there for labbing, like that Cisco 3800 series router right there. But the thing below it is a Cisco RV260 router that has a whole bunch of security stuff on it, access control list, being able to control what ports can get in of your network and out of your network and what have you. The Synology array that's right here is protected with complex passwords and disabled all the services that are garbage, that kind of thing. The Raspberry Pis aren't even plugged in because they haven't been turned on. That VMware Fusion Pro server that we built, like a month and a half ago or 2 months ago, it's about as protected as it can be. It really doesn't talk to the internet. It is an internal server. There's 2 Open Directory servers running on it with DNS, and really only port 53 goes out from there, which is DNS for port forwarding, forwarding lookup requests. Everything else, that Selfie is on its own VLAN, just to try to make it so that it's a little bit more difficult. I guess that's your way of looking at risk management. Make it a little bit more difficult for the bad guys to get in. Anyway, I'll leave that there. And if you have any questions for me about what we do, how we do it, or if you have any opportunities for us to help you out, reach out to us. The contact information is in pretty much every video that we post. But also you can just leave a comment below and I'll be notified directly anyway, and then we'll sync up after the fact. So thank you again for all your likes and subscribes over the last few years. I think this channel is now 4 years old. I think we started it in 2017. So I know this was more of a yappy type channel, or a yappy type video on this channel, but I thought that, doing a personal one from the heart would, give a little bit more context to the world of what I myself as an engineer do, how I do it, where I do it. And, I'm glad that you guys joined me today in my office. That's that's certainly something that I can appreciate. So in the meantime, thank you for watching, and until next time.